Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
So much so that I had to ask around. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of a nice guy, right?
Hacker is an ass.
I try, as I'm getting into my old age at 39 years old, try not to let things bother me. Just know that I'm ultra soft.
And he doesn't shy away from opinions.
See Baker Mayfield throw 4 passes, but I get to see this homeless guy return a ball for a touchdown.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville, our late night show. Let me ask you a question. Jacksonville, Florida. Where else would you rather be at 10:03 Eastern Standard Time than right here with Dylan Denmark and yours truly on Hacker After Dark? And we do appreciate you staying up late with us this evening. We got a ton to do. We got college football. We got NFL football, the Jaguars and the Titans to discuss. We got round 2 of the high school football state playoffs. We'll get into all of that over the next 2 hours. The 11 o'clock hour will be all about the high school spotlight. We'll have David Penland of University Christian, Kyle Doherty, the head coach at Yulee, Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Raines, as they're all getting ready for round 2 playoff action this Friday night. We'll also have Justin Barney of Channel 4. In hour 1, it's all about the Jaguars and all about the world of college football. My friend Brent Beard, you see him on First Coast News. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. He's about 35 minutes away. We'll talk coaching carousel. We'll talk Billy Napier's future in Gainesville, among other things. And our guest will start in about 20 minutes, a little under, with John Shipley of Jaguar Report, as we'll put a bow on the San Francisco fiasco and turn our attention to the hated Tennessee Titans. So we got a ton to do. We're glad you're with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Okay, 2 days. That's how long we've had. About 2.5 days, actually. The griping is over. You got to move on. There is not a thing in this world you can do about San Francisco coming in here and beating the hell out of you on Sunday. It's over. It's done. It's finished. Learn from it and move on. And when you take a deep breath, when you take a step back, realize the sky is no longer falling, and when you take a deep breath, here's the reality of the situation. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 6-3. The Jacksonville Jaguars are currently the 3rd seed in the AFC playoffs. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have 2 winnable games right in front of them. Home against Tennessee, at Houston, which is obviously a very big game now. If you would have told Jaguar fans at the beginning of the year, through 9 games, you're in first place in the AFC South, you're in 3rd place in the AFC as a whole, and you got the Titans coming in, and you're 6-3 and a 3-game lead on Tennessee, a lot of Jaguar fans would have taken that. The sting of getting absolutely embarrassed by San Francisco was overwhelming Sunday night and yesterday and most of today, but it's over. You can do nothing about it. You learn from it. You got the crap beat out of you, your butt kicked, whatever verbiage you want to use. You take it, you accept it, and you move on. And I'll be very curious tomorrow, the vibe in the Jaguar locker room, the vibe at the press conferences. Again, not only did you lose to San Francisco, but obviously the off-the-field situation with Zay Jones. His next court appearance, I believe, scheduled for December 6th. After getting arrested on misdemeanor domestic battery, was in court earlier today. So you got some distractions, right? But if this is the team we believe it to be, you put those distractions to bed, you focus on Tennessee, you go beat the Titans, you get to 7-3, which would set up then a huge game in Houston a week from Sunday. That's your reality. That's where we are. And hopefully the Jaguars, like the fans, can move on from that San Francisco game. Again, 6-3 is not the end of the world. You are in first place in the division. If the playoffs started today, you would be the 3 seed. That's pretty good. That's hard to complain about. And at some point, and I know we say this every week, so I probably won't say it if it doesn't happen much longer, but you would anticipate at some point the Jaguar offense would actually start resembling what we thought they might look like in training camp. Trevor Lawrence has 9 touchdown passes in 9 games. 9 touchdown passes in 9 games. And yet the Jaguars are still 6-3. The Jaguars have turned the ball over 7 times the last 2 games. You go back to New Orleans, they turned it over a couple of times then on Thursday night. They have had turnover problems the entire year. And yet, despite that, they're 6-3. If they ever put it together and stop the turnovers, imagine what this team could be. Again, they have not played even good on offense as of late. They've been below average. And yet, say it with me, they're 6-3. So when you take a deep breath, you take a step back, you kind of examine the situation. San Francisco sucked. There's no getting around that. That was an awful day for the Jaguar organization. I don't know about you. I haven't watched any national shows this week because I know what the narrative has been the last 2 days. ESPN, NFL Network, FS1, I've avoided all of it because I didn't want to hear the nonsense of this, that, and the other regarding the Jaguars. Now the Jaguars go back to a non-story. You will hear no talk about Tennessee and Jacksonville on national shows tomorrow. None. Zip. You beat Tennessee, you get to 7-3, and then C.J. Stroud's going to be the darling of the NFL. When the Jaguars go out there, it's all going to be about the Texans, man. The Jaguars will be the afterthought going to Houston. Hopefully they're going to have some revenge on their minds after the Texans came in here and waxed them in week 3. You're 2 wins away from mattering again. You beat Tennessee, you beat Houston, you get to 8-3, and then guess what? Monday Night Football returns to Jacksonville for the first time in well over a decade when Joe Burrow and Cincinnati roll in here the first Monday in December. 2 wins away from mattering again and putting San Francisco way in the rearview mirror. You beat Tennessee, you beat Houston, you get a stranglehold on the division, and you set up a gigantic game on Monday Night Football. That's the goal for this Jaguar football team. More on the Jaguars in a moment. John Shipley, Jaguar Report, less than 10 minutes away. Quickly to the college football rankings. Again, they don't mean a whole lot because Ohio State and Michigan are in the top 4. They need to play each other, so one of them will presumably drop out of the top 4. Georgia leapfrogs Ohio State to number 1. But if the college football playoff were played right now, it would be the Dogs and the Noles in the national semifinal. I know a majority of our college football audience, not all, don't get your feathers ruffled, those of you that wear the garnet and gold or the red and black or the orange and green, but a majority of college football fans in this market are Florida fans. And I think it would be fascinating if Georgia and Florida State played in either the national semifinal or for the national championship. What does Florida fan think about that? If you had to root for somebody, who are you rooting for, the Dogs or the Noles? You want to talk about compounding a problem. Florida's 5-5. They're about to get obliterated in Missouri on Saturday. Then they get Florida State at 7 o'clock at night, which is interesting, but I still doubt they have much of a chance in that game. So Florida likely to finish 5-7 and not go bowling. And they're going to have to potentially watch Georgia and Florida State in the college football playoff. What a nightmare year for Gator fans. Not only do you suck, but your two arch rivals potentially are going to play each other in the college football playoff. Yikes. Be fascinating game. Georgia versus Florida State. As a college football fan, sign me up for that right now. That would be intriguing, and I'd be fired up for it. More college football talk coming up in about 25 minutes or so with Brent Beard. You see him on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. But let's get back into the Jaguars. San Francisco's done. Let's move on to Tennessee. Let's talk about this 6-3 Jaguar football team. My friend John Shipley of Jaguar Report. He's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark, and he's next. A Tuesday night in Jacksonville, Florida, our late night show. And we're glad you're with us with Dylan Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green with you. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
It's the gateway to game day.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
Get everything you need to know for your weekend on Pregame Friday.
It's the greatest happening in sport.
Brought to you by MyBookie and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and you may want to sit down for this one. My first week with Awaken 180 might sound like a fairy tale, but those 12 pounds lost are the real deal, and the weight continues to fall off in week 2. The other day, a friend of mine said, hey, man, you're changing by the day. They can see the results after 1 week of Awaken 180. Look, I did the math. If I choose the weight loss injections instead, it would take 2 months to lose what I've dropped in 7 days. So how's it happening? I'm eating to lose weight. That's how Awaken 180 works. I have a personal coach and game plan, and so will you. And the pounds are looking for the exit road. And the best part is, they won't loop back. Get down to your ideal weight fast and safely, and they'll teach you how to keep it off with free lifetime support. That's right, free lifetime support. There's no supplements, suppressants, or medications. Just a safe, simple weight loss program that can work for anyone. I'm not just losing it, I'm living it. If you want in on these results, do what Mike Dempsey and I did. Call Awaken 180 at 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash, you can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact. So your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
1010XL celebrates athletic and academic greatness.
Listen for the high school scholar athlete Wednesdays on the Frangie Show.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
Life isn't the same without music, and Players Grill Miramar has Samuel Sanders performing covers and original music this Friday at 8 p.m. Jam out with this local singer-songwriter while enjoying tasty food everyone can enjoy. Players Grill Miramar, where the neighborhood meets.
1010XL is a proud sponsor of Operation Uniform's 10th Annual Heroes Gala, featuring retired Army Lieutenant Colonel and former Congressman Alan West. Saturday, December 2nd at Sawgrass Marriott. Operation Uniform is a free, life-changing program that helped me, David Trenholm, successfully transition from a 20-year career in the United States Navy to the business world. Join 1010XL and sponsor Operation Uniform's 10th Annual Heroes Gala today. Go to onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org today.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars trying to recover from whatever that was on Sunday, a 34-3 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. They better get over it pretty quick because they have two gigantic division games coming up beginning this Sunday with the hated Tennessee Titans. With that, John Shipley of Jaguar Report, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. John, how you doing?
Hey, doing good, my friend. How you doing?
John, we're good. We're better than the Jaguars were on Sunday. Good gracious, man. You've had a couple of days to think about it now. Just your thoughts on what we witnessed on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, no, it shows that the Jaguars, they're still not quite at the level of top team that, they were thinking. A lot of people, inside Jacksonville were thinking that they were still at, and the NFL is absolutely a week-to-week league. You'll get punched in the mouth one week and come out another week and, look like one of the best teams. I mean, San Francisco is a great example of it. Last 3 weeks for them, the sky was falling. Then they come out yesterday, and, a lot of people would probably pick them right now as the best team, in the NFL after that dominant showing. But it does show that the Jaguars do have a lot of issues on, offense. And it did show, that the one thing that everybody kept talking about when it came to the defense was, what happens if the turnovers do eventually dry up. And we saw it, on Sunday, with no takeaways. It showed, really how flawed this team can be when, they're playing poorly like they did yesterday.
John, is the offensive line the biggest concern you have coming out of Sunday?
I think it's definitely a concern. I'm not sure I'd say the biggest concern. To me, the biggest concern is just, how the offense is really operating in general, really how it's kind of being displayed and constructed. It doesn't seem like there's any easy answers for the offense. It seems like, getting, a yard yesterday was a tall task at a time. The receivers struggling to get open when the defense throws off the timing of the routes. And, basically the 49ers said it early in the week, when you take away the quick passing game, you can get after Jaguars a little bit. And you saw that yesterday. The 49ers defense focused on taking away, the quick passing game. They pressed everybody at the line of scrimmage. They threw some exotic looks to make Trevor Lawrence hold on to the ball. And when he did that, they didn't have the line to really hold up. And Lawrence made a couple bad decisions, while under duress.
John Shipley of Jaguar Report. Look, we always defend Trevor, right, when the national media comes after him. Richard Sherman, Chris Broussard, just to name a few. Well, there's not much defending this week, right? That was terrible on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have concerns about Trevor right now?
I don't have concerns about Trevor, but I do know that, when to read the room, basically. Nobody's going to say the quarterback who just had a game like that with 3 turnovers, no matter how you want to, really define the blame of them, is really going to try to defend him. I don't think he's the biggest issue with the offense, but that's not to say he can't play better. He said openly yesterday he thought it was one of the worst games of his career. When you factor in some of the games he had as a rookie, just a handful of games last year, by the numbers, it was the worst game offensively, efficiency-wise of the Doug Peterson era, and he played a big hand in that. So I don't think he's their biggest problem going forward, but I do think you can recognize when he doesn't play well, and Sunday was definitely an example of that.
John, we've talked about the offensive line as far as, to the untrained eye. I look at it and I say, okay, do I notice you? And if I notice you on the O-line, that's probably a problem because it means you're either committing penalties or you're giving up sacks. I got to tell you, man, I noticed 4 out of the 5 on Sunday. I didn't notice Sheriff, which means he probably was doing all right, but I noticed Fortner, I certainly noticed Harrison and Robinson, and I really noticed Walker Little, John. Is that he hasn't been out there for a month and a half, or is there a problem at left guard?
No, I think there's definitely, something, to think about that, maybe they do or are still looking, for that best combination on the offensive line. I think you're definitely still looking for trying to get the best 5 to play consistently, and I think that's been their biggest issue right now. The offensive line to me has put very few consistent games together this season, so I don't know if it's putting Cleveland in there. I don't know it's, the offensive line, I think, was probably the biggest victim of the 49ers taking away the quick passing game, because then, what the quick passing game does to me the most is protect an offensive line. They don't have to hold up in pass protection one-on-ones as much. They couldn't do that yesterday, and they got bludgeoned. So to me, it's definitely a concern moving forward. On the flip side, they probably won't see many fronts as good as the one they just played.
John Shipley of Jaguar Report. John, a big talking point among Jaguar fans is the idea of play calling. People want to blame Press Taylor for everything when the team struggles like they did on Sunday. How legit is that? Is that as big a deal as people are trying to make it?
I think there's definitely something to it. I think, when you look at the offense this year compared to the offense last year, there are only 3 major changes. It's, the addition of Calvin Ridley, in place of Marvin Jones, the subtraction of Jawan Taylor with Anton Harrison taking his place, and then Press Taylor being that every game, play caller as opposed to just calling some second halves last year. I think when you look at it, and that's the only significant change, I think you have to factor in, okay, what's going on here? And, there are a lot of advanced metrics right now just about the design of the Jaguars offense. They don't paint it in a very good light right now. So I think that's something they have to look in the mirror and really address.
Defensively, John, look, it was 13-3 at half, right? It was a game at halftime, and then the game ended when Kittle just outfought Devin Lloyd for the ball and went 66 yards for a touchdown. You could basically pack up shop and head home at that point. But as far as the defense goes, I thought Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, at least for the first 30 minutes, if nothing else, they looked like they belonged on the field with San Francisco.
Yeah, no, they 100% did. I thought the first half was encouraging, after that first drive. I thought they did a good job of getting Purdy off his spot, getting pressure after him a few times. I thought Trayvon had, one of the better halves that he has really had with the Jaguars. And I think ultimately that, when you look at what they did defensively, they did a lot of encouraging things, but they also had some Kyle Shanahan type stuff happen to them. Kyle Shanahan does it to defenses every week where he just games guys open. And then the big thing to me was Christian McCaffrey. No defense really has an answer for him, but I really thought this was maybe the year that, they had the front 7, the inside linebackers, defensive line to contain a guy like him, and they just couldn't do it.
John Shipley of Jaguar Report. John, in the postgame locker room, I'm sure you were in there on Sunday afternoon. Look, they had some striking quotes, right? Trevor said it's maybe the worst game of his career. Josh Allen used the term embarrassed. I think Evan Ingram went as far as to say we got our A's kicked. So obviously it appears on the surface like the leaders of this team are taking what happened Sunday pretty personally.
Oh, 100%. You know, Josh Allen said after the game that they saw it as a playoff game, and I think you definitely have to, you know, to me, like, NFL players understand that it's not a, you know, one game doesn't decide your season, but when you have big games like this, and especially at home, you get yourself up for those games so much more that it's that much more disappointing if you don't perform. So I think definitely you know, they seemed like, to me, after the Texans lost, they seemed mad in the locker room. Yesterday, it seemed more like embarrassed and a little bit, you know, like, you know, really confused and befuddled, you know, how a performance like that could happen.
John Shipley of Jaguar Report. All right, now moving forward, I think it's almost a good thing, John, that the Tennessee Titans are rolling in. A rival, obviously the history that a lot of these guys have with the Titans. You know, Josh Allen, Cam Robinson, the leaders on this team. If it would have been any other team, I might be worried at how they'll respond based on what happened against the Niners. But when you see that Titan logo, you'd have to think the Jaguars are going to be ready to play.
Yeah, 100%. And I also think, you know, they match up with a team like the Titans much better than they match up with the 49ers. Like, they, you know, there are a lot of reasons to think, you know, just on paper, you know, 49ers are a bad matchup for them. I don't think there are that many reasons with, you know, Tennessee. I think absolutely, you know, we've seen from this team before that they learn lessons after tough losses and they kind of take stock and take accountability. I think you see that happen again this week.
You're not worried at all, though, about a hangover effect? I know we talked about that after Houston. Obviously, there wasn't a hangover effect. Maybe you could argue there was after Kansas City. Do you think yesterday's loss is going to linger, or are they going to flush it pretty quick?
I think they'll flush it quick. I'd say that there's a better chance of a hangover effect, honestly, if they were playing a different team. I just, you know, I personally haven't been blown away by Will Levis. He obviously had a great debut, but in the 2 games since then, you know, they haven't been nearly as impressive. They're missing a lot of pieces on both sides, and they have an offensive line the Jags, you know, can get after on defense. So I think it's definitely a possibility. I just think that they're a good matchup for this Titans team right now.
Final moments, John Shipley of Jaguar Report. Your level of concern about what C.J. Stroud and the Texans are doing?
I mean, you obviously have to be concerned. C.J. Stroud's getting, you know, MVP hype right now. And, you know, for good reason. He's having, you know, to date, one of the best rookie seasons by a quarterback, you know, in NFL history. It's right there with Justin Herbert, Dan Marino, Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, anybody you want to name. So, I mean, they're right there. They can win any game, you know, as they've obviously shown. And, you know, in 2 weeks, that's probably game of the year right now.
And look, I mean, to the Texans' credit, they went into Cincinnati, they beat Burrow, and the shocking thing, John, to me, if the AFC playoffs started at the time you and I are talking right now, Cincinnati and Buffalo would not be in. I mean, you want to talk about the parity in the AFC when teams like Pittsburgh and Houston would currently be in the playoffs and the Bengals and the Bills would not be. That would have been unthinkable coming into this season back in early September.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the Texans, you know, right now, one of the stories, you know, of the NFL, DeMeco Ryans is probably, you know, if they had to pick, you know, coach of the year right now. So, you know, in the NFL, you never know. You can never count things too early in the season. You know, until the last weeks of the season, nothing's really set. So there's still a lot of football left to be played for, you know, for everybody.
All right, John, as we wrap up, keys to victory on Sunday when the Titans come to town.
Oh, you got to disrupt Will Levis and force him into some turnover, worthy plays. You obviously do that by getting after them on the front 7. And then overall, you know, I think, you know, slowing down Derrick Henry has to be, you know, the first key. And then protecting Trevor Lawrence. You know, if they can't do that, they don't have a chance.
Yeah, it's going to be something to see how they respond after that loss to San Francisco. Tell us about Jaguar Report. I know you guys got the podcast coming out, I think, twice weekly. What else can people look forward to at Jaguar Report this week?
Yeah, you can find us, you know, twice weekly at the Jaguar Report podcast. We'll have one today, one later in the week. And I'll have a few other things this week, you know, just looking really at the state of the Jaguars offense and, you know, how they've gotten to this point.
John Shipley does a terrific job covering the Jacksonville Jaguars with Jaguar Report, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. John, appreciate it, my friend. We'll do it again soon.
Yep, thank you, buddy.
There you go, John Shipley of Jaguar Report here with us on Hacker After Dark. Jaguar locker room open tomorrow. Doug Peterson will meet the media tomorrow as we turn the page to get ready for the Tennessee Titans, a Titan team that is struggling. They are 3-6. There are angry people in the Titans locker room. The Titans offensive line couldn't block me last week. Will Levis got hit 13 times, got sacked 4 times, by Tampa Bay. So Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker got to be licking their chops, man, to have an opportunity on Sunday against a Titan O-line that arguably is the worst offensive line in the National Football League. Certainly much more on the Titans and the Jaguars tomorrow and Thursday on Hacker After Dark. We got the high school spotlight coming up in the 11 o'clock hour tonight as round 2 of the FHSAA State Football Playoffs will begin Friday evening. But before we get there, we got to talk a little college ball. Jimbo Fisher out at Texas A&M. Zach Arnett out at Mississippi State. You had 2 SEC coaches fired in the last 48 hours. What about Sam Pittman at Arkansas? The coaching carousel already swinging pretty good. Billy Napier, I think he's okay. I think he should be okay. But what if Missouri puts a number on Florida on Saturday? Florida State puts a number on Florida a week from Saturday. What's the future for Billy Napier? That recruiting class that they had, too, starting to have some defections with it. So a lot of questions for the Gators. And Georgia and Florida State. If the college football playoff were right now, that would be one of your national semifinals. Rankings came out earlier tonight. Georgia's now number 1, Florida State number 4. So not only are the Gators awful, but their 2 biggest rivals are having outstanding seasons. We'll talk about all of it with my friend Brent Beard. You see him on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. It is a Tuesday night in Jacksonville, Florida with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
He is tough. He sets the tone. If the O-line is the backbone of the offense, then a back injury could be a backbreaker.
Oh, boy, this is starting to get ugly.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update on 1010XL.
Jacksonville. You know, real estate research right now says housing prices are still rising slowly and inventory is still below historical averages. That means if you think your home right now is unsellable or there's a host of problems, then you haven't met Chad and Sandy, who will make sure those problems become promises. Chad and Sandy are the only real estate experts we trust and recommend with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts. Derek and Ashley out in St. John's Harbor said we were building a new home, but we had a big problem. 2 months on the market, and we had no showings and no offers with another agent. We were super stressed. Then we heard Chad and Sandy guarantee sale on the radio and hired them. They created an amazing plan to sell quickly and maximize price. The home sold in 10 days for more money than the previous realtor had listed. That's the promise and the proof of ChadandSandy.com. Go there today, ChadandSandy.com, or call them in office, 904-414-6200.
Hacker here, and look, football season is in full swing, and no game day setup is complete without the Sausage Dude sausage. I'm a sausage guy, and the Sausage Dude sausage is the best sausage I've ever had. Try their 4 terrific flavors, including Polish, Hungarian, beer bratwurst with jalapeno, and my personal favorite, the Italian today, by picking them up at any Publix in the Jacksonville area. Football and sausage, it's a winning combination. Go get the Sausage Dude sausage at any Publix in the Jacksonville area right now.
Pastor Joby Martin here with the Church of 1122. We are honored once again to partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for the Great Futures Weekend, which includes golf and Mackenzie's 5K run at the esteemed TPC Stadium course. Help us continue to honor Mackenzie Wilson's legacy. That's Friday and Saturday, November 17th and 18th. You can golf or you can run. It'll be a great time. Additional info at MackenzieRun.org. Proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida.
Hey sports fans, it's Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. Look, are you sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees and back? Joint pain doesn't just keep you from doing what you love, it affects your job, your relationships, even simple things like getting dressed. It's time to call QC Kinetics. They've got 2 great locations here, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. And look, you can get in. They have appointments available right now. This week, call them at 904-274-5522. You got to give them a chance. Hips, shoulders, elbows, they can treat everything with natural biologics from your own body. Powerful healing agents, highly concentrated. If you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if you're trying to avoid surgery, Call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation. Learn more about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments. Again, 904-274-5522. That's QC Kinetics.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On November 14, 1993, the Dolphins beat the Eagles, and Don Shula becomes the coach with the most wins in NFL history with 325.
Are you looking to maintain your cool? Look no further than Lloyd's Heating and Air. At Lloyd's Heating and Air, your go-to experts for all things HVAC. Whether you're building a new home, need a brand new AC installation, or just want to make sure your current system is running at peak performance, with a maintenance plan, we've got you covered. Our skilled team specializes in new construction HVAC, making sure your home or business is comfortable from the moment you step inside. LloydsHeatingandAir.com. CMC 1249834.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
What city has hosted the most Super Bowls? The answer coming up.
Southern Oak Insurance knows that you want to save money on your homeowner's insurance. So why not try some old-fashioned common sense? Ask your Southern Oak agent about our roof replacement schedule. It will save you money.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Miami has hosted the Super Bowl 11 times. New Orleans has had 10.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Wood floors should make your home look cozy and inviting. But old worn-out floors can look kinda, Let Renew Solutions give your floors a stunning makeover. For a no-obligation appointment, visit RenewJacksFloors.com.
Create great futures for young people when you run or walk at McKenzie's Run Saturday, November 18th. Join Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Register at McKenzie'sRun.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Boy, there's a lot of college football news going on. Of course, we got a big football weekend ahead of us. We have had a couple of firings already in the Southeastern Conference. Could there be more to come, and what do they mean for the coaching carousel, which is about to spin out of control? With that, my friend Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, sir?
Well, it's beginning to be the time of year to where there's more off-the-field stuff than on-the-field stuff, or at least the off-the-field stuff overshadows it. And look, there is nothing besides expansion that gets college football fans excited like a coaching change.
Brent, were you surprised Jimbo Fisher was shown the door in College Station?
Well, I was for this reason. We had heard from a A&M beat writer that they might keep him because they play Texas next year, and that is everything to A&M fans, and that they would keep the roster intact if they did. So to a degree, yes, but that they made a decision, frankly, that, and you can understand that. I mean, Jimbo, except for the national championship years at FSU, is basically an 8-5, 9-3, 7-6 coach. I mean, that's kind of what you've got, and it really got no better at A&M, even with all the talent that they've got. Now, obviously, the buyout got everybody's attention, and they'll have to deal with that, but they've got the money in order to do it. And the obvious question is, who comes next. I mean, you've got Lane Kiffin. I don't think he's going. Mike Elko at Duke might, since he was there. Mike Norvell, I don't think's leaving, and neither is Lanning. Jeff Traylor at UTSA would be a nice hire. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is a fit. Washington's Kalen DeBoer, you've got that going on too, but I think he'll probably stay there. So coaching searches are fun because it's somewhere between what, Ryan? The ridiculous and the sublime, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Again, Brenton Beard here with us. And look, I think Jimbo's time at College Station has to be considered a failure. There's no other way to look at it. But now as we move forward, there were two very different ways of handling questions about that job on Monday between Dan Lanning at Oregon and Mike Norvell at Florida State. Dan Lanning was asked about the A&M job, and he said, no, I'm 0% chance I'm going anywhere. I'm staying at Oregon. All right, well, that basically ends it, right? I mean, now it's up to him keeping his word. He goes publicly, 0% chance. Mike Norvell is asked the same question, and he kind of skirted around it, Brent. He didn't flat out say no, which, talking to my Florida State friends, has got them a little curious.
Well, let me translate that. That is, that probably means, well, on bank channels, my agent is willing to listen, and I've done a really good job here this year, and I probably will stay, but I would like to be handsomely rewarded for what we did this year, which he probably will be anyway. I mean, different ones are going to handle it in different ways, but it's kind of that. Norvell was more of that. Well, we'll never say never, but certainly his fan base doesn't want to hear that. But Lanning, what he said is a lot more definite.
Yeah, and look, it puts coaches in a tough position. Everybody refers back to Nick Saban, about the Miami Dolphin job and then the Alabama job. He basically did it twice. So it's a tough deal in the press conference setting. The question has to be asked, but when you're Mike Norvell and you don't flat out say no, it does lead the mind to wander a little bit. Quickly, A&M, Brent, was not the only job that came open in the last 72 hours. Boy, you got a feel for Mississippi State. Obviously, the tragic loss of Mike Leach. They replaced him with a guy that was on staff already in Arnett. It obviously didn't work out, and they knew that pretty quick because he's gone after 10 games. So now Mississippi State is open, and a lot of speculation is, would they call Dan Mullen to see if he wants to return to Starkville?
Well, they could, and he fits there, but if they want to remain in about what, of course, they don't have divisions, but you'll understand the illustration. If you want to be 5th, 6th, or 7th in the division, because Dan Mullen just will not recruit, he doesn't like it, then you could do that. Otherwise, Jamie Chadwell of Liberty has been mentioned. Lance Leopold of Kansas would be a slam dunk hire. So would Willie Fritz of Tulane. And another guy is John Sumrall of Troy, who is like 20-4 at Troy, so he's not going to be there long. This is a no-win situation. Now, Arnett made some mistakes by firing a lot of Mike Leach's assistant coaches and changing the offense. He did too much in the first year, particularly with one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, in Will Rogers. So that got him in some trouble. And look, Hank, let's be honest, they also fired him because his buyout was $4.5 million, not $75 million.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. And I know people are speculating about Deion Sanders. I don't know if people have noticed, but Colorado's 4-6 and not doing anything this year. People were talking about A&M, right, for Deion. I think that's crazy talk. Mississippi State is not as crazy, Brent, to me. He has ties, obviously, to that state from what he did at Jackson State. And if you're Mississippi State and you want to get some national recognition, now I don't know what Deion's going to give you on game day because, again, Colorado's not doing very well. But Deion and the SEC at a place like Starkville, if nothing else, would get Mississippi State on the map pretty quick.
Yeah, they would. The risk-reward would be the reward being the publicity. The risk would be he's there, 2 or 3 years at the most, and then he lily pads to somewhere else. That's what you deal with. If I was the AD and I had the choice, I'd go with one of the names we mentioned in Chadwell, Leopold, or Fres, because they'd be there a lot longer.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, is that it as far as the coaches that are gone? Jimbo, Arnett, so A&M and Mississippi State are open. There's some talk about Sam Pittman at Arkansas. I don't envision anybody else. Vanderbilt's terrible, but I don't know if they're going to get rid of Clark Lee.
No.
We'll talk about Florida here in a moment, but is Arkansas the only other one that may come open?
Yeah. Unless you've got a surprise retirement, and I don't see that. The rest of the jobs, I think, are safe. Frankly, and I hope they keep Pittman another year. But the momentum they gained from beating Florida, and then just not showing up against Auburn, certainly did not help him at all. I mean, he fired Dan Enos, the offensive coordinator, so that may have helped him a little bit, but not much.
Brent, you and I have talked on 3 different radio stations over the last 21 years in the city of Jacksonville, and in all that time, and certainly dating back much further than that, I can't remember a Florida defense that has been this dreadful. They are awful, Brent, and maybe it's youth. Maybe it's Austin Armstrong's in over his head. I don't know what it is, but when a team gains 700 yards of offense on you like LSU did, people want to talk about Napier, and look, there's a conversation there, but that Florida defense is just absolutely putrid.
Yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things. They've had a lot of injuries, like Shamir James, that hurt them. And then you're up against a guy like Jaden Daniels, who is it's like trying to tackle the wind. You really just can't get a handle on him at all. Armstrong came with a good reputation from Southern Miss. Alabama wanted to hire him. They certainly did better with Kevin Steele. But again, until they get better players on defense, fortunately, now Brady Cook is good. He's not as elusive, and no one else is, as Jane Daniels is. But if they had made 1 or 2 stops, their offense got them back in the game. And frankly, their problem right now is not on offense. It's what you're talking about. It's defense and special teams. And they probably won't get any of that cleared up until the end of the year. But, man alive, is there anybody in the nation that's playing a more difficult last 3 games in LSU, Missouri, and Florida State than Florida is?
Yeah, it's a brutal stretch, no question about it. And look, I've had conversations, Brent. People have conversations this time of year. And in talking to people around the Gator program, people that I trust, here's the conversation I had yesterday, and I'll throw it at you. I don't think Napier's in any trouble. Having said that, whoever A&M hires, the first call they make is going to be to DJ Lagway. Because DJ Lagway is about 20 minutes from that A&M campus. And he's been there an awful lot visiting over the years because of the proximity. And if for whatever reason Florida gets boat raced by Missouri and Florida State, they're already seeing some defections in this class. They lost 2 over the weekend. There's rumors that more may be coming. And if that A&M new head coach, whoever it may be, convinces DJ Lagway at the 11th hour to leave Florida and sign with A&M, then I think there might be more of a conversation there about the future of the Gator program. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, from what I've been told, he will be back regardless. But if they're still struggling with the same issues this time next year, it will be a different conversation. And I think at that point, he basically could very well be out. Now, I understand, again, they've got to replenish the talent. But at some point, it gets beyond, it's Mullen's fault. Well, all this is Mullen's fault. But a lot of it now is not. What is not is you don't have an offensive coordinator. Your defense is allowing record numbers, and you don't have any leadership on your special teams. One of the best things he could do when this season is over would be to go ahead and hire him those two positions, and at least it would let people know that he is attempting to do something. He simply cannot just go recruiting and ignore that staff. That would give him a little bit more cachet if he would make those hires quickly.
The way it was explained to me is the 2023 Gator roster. If you want to talk about who Florida fans were excited about coming into the year, yeah, you might name Ricky Pearsall and Etienne and Montrell Johnson, but DJ Lagway was on that list, and he's not even there yet.
Yep.
And
Right.
DJ Lagway signifies hope, right, for the future.
He does.
Whether he's going to be good or not, he's a 5-star quarterback, and he signifies hope. And if for some reason that new A&M staff, who hasn't even been hired yet, were to swoop into the 11th hour and take Florida's hope away from them, that's going to be an awfully bad thing going into this offseason.
Well, it is, and I would agree with that. But because at this point, I'm not saying you couldn't, but it would not be easy to find a quarterback. Now, again, one of the best things they could do is talk Graham Mertz into coming back. Now, again, Graham Mertz is not going to win the Heisman, but, I mean, he has been a pretty steady hand, and he deserves credit for that. Tell you one of the things they could do is pay attention to Eli Drinkwitz with this team coming up with Missouri. There are a few coaches who have gone from the hot seat to one of the better coaches in the league and the job that he's done than Drink has, particularly on offense and what he's done. He was the offensive coordinator. He gave that up, and they have almost set records there. So Gator fans need to look at Drinkwitz this week and do a quick study on Missouri to see where things could go, hopefully.
Final moments with Brent Beard. And for the record, DJ Lagway, to my knowledge, has been very loyal to Florida. We're just simply pointing out how close he lives to A&M in the land of NIL. Maybe he and Jimbo didn't see eye to eye or whatever. A&M hires a new staff. You know that first call they make is going to be to DJ Lagway, and we'll see what ultimately happens there. Finally, Brent, we got about 2 minutes. Does Florida have a chance on Saturday?
Well, I think they might because Cook is not as elusive as Jaden Daniels is. But again, you've got to defend Luther Burton, who's one of the better wide receivers, and Cody Schrader, who everybody saw against Tennessee, was just amazing. Frankly, and matter of fact, Schrader has over 1,000 yards already on the season. So, I mean, anything can happen, but Missouri is playing better. I mean, Missouri's heading toward a double-digit win season, which is amazing with what they've done. But I think a lot of people have pointed out if there is a win in these three, then it may be against Missouri. But the reality is Missouri right now is playing better than Florida is.
And Missouri absolutely just destroyed Tennessee. And that brings us to my final question. Boy, Georgia-Tennessee, you thought a couple of weeks ago could be a big deal. Georgia is clearly the front runner. They're on their way to Atlanta to play in the SEC championship game. Tennessee, to say they're limping to the finish line might be an understatement. Now, the game's in Neyland, for whatever that means. It's in Knoxville. But does Georgia have any issue on Saturday?
No, it'll be an easy win before it's over. Now, Tennessee's front seven on defense will give Georgia some challenges. I've seen Joe Milton in person. He's not going to beat Georgia, I can assure you that. And what Georgia will do is take away the running game. They'll make Milton beat them, and that's not going to happen. They'll empty that stadium out by the end of the third quarter.
You get Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, next week, rivalry week, I saw where Florida State will be under the lights at the Swamp, right? 7 o'clock.
Yes.
That's interesting, I guess. We'll talk about that next week, but it'll be the best weekend of the year with the rivalries all over the world of college football. Thank you, my friend.
Always back. Take care, bud.
You got to feel the pain and embarrassment. That's what it is. It's terrible.
That is tipped an interception, and that's a disaster.
But you got to flush it, too.
These are great opportunities for me to coach this football team.
There's things out there on every play that we're all doing where we can do better.
I think our players will rebound. They always have.
We're going to move on, and we're going to get ready for Tennessee. That's the biggest game of the year is our next one.
It's back at the bank for a big one against a division rival. Jaguars, Titans, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Not looking forward to cooking that big Thanksgiving meal? Bellwether in downtown Jacksonville has got you covered. Pick up your meal to go on November 21st and 22nd until 6 p.m. Bellwether offers dinner for 4, 2, or just 1. Just make your order by calling 802-7745. That's 802-7745. Orders must be made before the 18th. So take a break this Thanksgiving and have dinner from us. That's Bellwether, downtown Jacksonville.
Golfers, when's the last time you played Cimarron? New ownership, improved greens, fairways, and tee boxes, a new clubhouse, interior, exterior, including the Stone and Barrel Tap House, indoor-outdoor bar, live music. Practice, learn, and play program is only $59 a month. Unlimited range balls, weekly clinic from teaching professionals. Golf every day, $25 after 2 o'clock. Whether you scratch or just like getting out with your buddies, you have to try the new Cimarron Golf Club on 210.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, City Rescue Mission is here to help. Learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
The Creeks Athletic Association in St. Johns County offers a variety of sports for children 5 to 18. Learn how to get your child involved at caale.org.
Builders Care is looking for volunteers, and there are so many ways you can help. Find out how at builderscare.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com. the flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL-FM, Jacksonville Beach.
Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast, and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you.
Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-one-fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
The IRS has just received $80 billion in funding to hire additional agents for aggressive collections enforcement. If you owe the IRS, now is the time to take action before the IRS comes after you or your business. There's no time to waste. Call J. David Tax Law, a firm right here in Jacksonville, for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or visit jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Frank Franzi here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason so many of my friends and our listeners have had Stanley Pools build their pools and now maintain their pools, because Stanley Pools truly cares about their customers. Stanley Pools is locally owned and has been serving our community for 35 years. For all of your pool needs, call Stanley Pools at 269-7277. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools. 269-7277, or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
And welcome into the High School Spotlight. 1010XL 92.5 FM as high school playoff action continues this Friday night. Round 2 for most of our teams, but it's first round action for the University Christian and Trinity Christian. Both teams had a bye last week. It is a rematch of a playoff game last year, and heck, this will be the fourth time that University Christian and Trinity Christian have played in the last 13 months. With that, David Penland, the head coach of University Christian, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Coach, we're good. Appreciate the time. And all right, while everybody else that's in the playoffs was playing last week, you got to enjoy a little bye week, some rest. How did you use that bye week to your advantage to get ready for Trinity on Friday night?
Oh, we just, went hard last week and gave them a couple of days off at the end of the week and heal up and get ready for today and go at it hard this week.
Fourth time you're going to play Trinity in the last 13 months, right? That's just where we are now with the whole metro suburban thing. Advantages, disadvantages to playing a team that often in that amount of time?
I would say probably an advantage for both sides. We get to see each other once during the season, and then we know we're going to see each other in the playoffs, just like last year. It'll be a hard-fought football game on both sides. It's kind of a game that we put on our schedule, and I'm sure they do the same thing. So it'll be a grudge match Friday.
David Penland of University Christian. Of course, University eliminated Trinity a year ago in the postseason. Coach, not the regular season that I guess you guys are usually accustomed to over there at University, but nevertheless, you're in the playoffs, and if you go out there on Friday night and you knock Trinity off for the second straight year, none of that stuff in the regular season even matters anymore, correct?
Yeah, it's been one of them years where it was tough scheduling, and we had 7 of the 10 teams that we played, of the 11 teams we played, really 7 of them are in the playoffs, 3 of them are number 1 seeds. So it wasn't like we played a cupcake schedule. We had a pretty brutal schedule, and Clearwater International, that was a dang all-star team that we played, and so we've been battle tested for sure. And our first game against Trinity was 7-0 at halftime. It was back and forth. They ended up getting us 14-0. They did a really good job on defense, and that's the way that game's going to go. And I expect nothing different this Friday night.
David Penland of University Christian, University at Trinity, Friday night in the FHSAA State High School Football Playoffs. Coach, you and I have talked over the years. You schedule the way you do in large part to get ready for games like this. There was a time where University's schedule really didn't even start until round 2 of the postseason. Do you feel like a tough regular season schedule like you played is going to get you ready for a game like Trinity on Friday?
Oh, absolutely. And, just trying to get the kids to their minds. We hadn't lost 5 games in a long time. So, but we had a pretty, tough schedule this year. So just trying to get them not to, think about what we've done in the regular season, because none of that really matters. You make it to the playoffs, it's a new season, and anything can happen from that point on. And that's kind of what the mindset that we have. We started last week off with like starting the season over again. So our guys are ready, and we'll hopefully have a good week of practice this week and be ready to rumble Friday night.
Playoff games obviously are always a big deal. I'm not breaking any news there, but you said it earlier. I mean, it's Trinity Christian and University Christian. Not only is it playoff, it's bragging rights, it's alumni going at it, obviously. I mean, this is a big deal, right? This is what high school football is all about.
No, absolutely. I'm sure it'll be a very crowded game, and it's what it should be. It's what a rivalry should be. It's, they've had the upper hand for 30 years until last year, and when we beat them, I'm sure they marked that game on the schedule, as we all know, for this past, the district game, and here we are again, week 1, playing again. So it's what these games are supposed to be and what it's all about.
What are the keys for you? What needs to happen Friday night for you guys to beat them for 2 years in a row in the playoffs?
No mistakes, play physical, have some fun, play fast, and play UC football. The brand that we lean our hat on is being physical, and that's what we got to do Friday night.
David Penland of University Christian. Coach, invite them out. Obviously, the game's at Trinity. There'll be a strong UC presence there. Like you said, both stands are probably going to be packed on both sides. What can people anticipate when they head out there on Friday?
Absolutely. If you want to see a really good high school football game, Friday night at Trinity will be a one to watch. It'll be packed. I'm sure it'll be standing room only, and everybody's looking forward to this game. So if you ain't got nothing to do Friday night, come on out.
David Penland of University Christian. Coach, best of luck. We hope we're talking to you under the Friday night lights.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Hacker.
And thank you to David Penland of University Christian. They got a big one coming up Friday night, a rematch against Trinity Christian. Speaking of rematches, that takes us to 2S, Yulee and Baker County. A game we saw a couple of weeks ago. We now get the rematch up in Nassau County with the winner advancing to the state regional final. With that, Kyle Doherty, the head coach of Yulee High School, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Coach, we're good. Boy, dominating playoff win. Let's talk about that first. You guys get it done over Keystone Heights. A very impressive round 1 performance.
Yeah, our boys are ready to go. Pretty much since that last Baker County meeting, our practice habits have improved. Our kids have matured a little bit. We've done better executing things at practice and becoming more efficient in that time. And it's just shown up every single game, especially defensively. We've gotten better every week. Offensively, we've kind of hit our stride a little bit. We're kind of in a good little rhythm on that side of the ball. It's just things kind of came together after that Baker County win. Everyone got a little reality check, and we're at this point where we get to play them again.
You know, you and I talked about this offseason. You replaced a lot of talent off of last year's team. You got a lot of guys off of last year's team that are playing college football right now in Division I, and yet here you sit going into almost Thanksgiving, and you're one of the 16 teams left in the state in your classification. Not to say that you're surpassing expectations, but honestly, did you think your young guys would develop in the fashion that they did to get to this point?
I knew that I had a really talented senior class for this season, and there's a lot of juniors that are playing good football for us. There were a lot of sophomores that played for us last year. I was anticipating something of this manner because I knew the talent that we had. You know, the tough thing is what do we do in the future with replacing the talent that we're leaving now? We've had two really good talented classes graduate in a row. Our junior class is big, and there's a lot of talent on that roster. I'm not sure, what echelon of talent when it comes to like how many Division I kids are we going to sign, but at the end of the day, it really matters more about how the kids kind of develop within themselves, how they grow together as a team, how they find ways to get things done. That's what this group has really done is they found ways to be successful on the field on Friday within themselves and not anything outside of it. They're not a selfish group. They play for each other. And that's really where I think a lot of our success stems is that there's not an ego when it comes to, who's getting the ball or, any of those things. Everyone's just all about what happens on the field, who, making the play for each other and making those moments, those big stands. And, we're at a point now where we've got an opportunity to do that against a team that we're 0-3 against the last 2 years. So I think we're hungry for this moment.
Kyle Doherty of Yulee. The thing about being 0-3 against Baker County is, man, you've been right there, right, in all of those games. Every fourth quarter, you've been right there, and just something hasn't gone your way. So I don't think there's going to be any intimidation when you play Baker County. Those games could have gone either way.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Baker County kind of ran away with the last one. We spotted them 20 points in the first half until we found our rhythm in that game. But we also had a lot of mistakes in that game. That was one of our sloppier games we played in my 3 years here. And there was if we didn't allow them to score in the second half, we probably have a chance, or at least we have a drive or two in the fourth quarter to maybe tie the game up. Correcting those mistakes and having a little bit different of a mindset and how we approach the game is what I'm hoping our kids are going to come in with. And the other two games were like a combined 11 points from last year's games. I just hoping our guys show up and going to do everything we can to have them ready for Friday night. But I'm just hoping we show up with a ton of energy and leave it all out there on the field.
You've done this a long time, so I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Sometimes home field, might be overblown in high school football. I don't think that's the case this week. There's a big difference between having to travel to Baker County and getting those guys to come up there to Nassau County, and they have to come up to Nassau County, there to Yulee High School. That's a big deal for you guys.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Baker County has like a little special place. It's got an aura about it for sure. It's a cool venue to play a game in. That's not saying I would rather play there. I would much rather be playing at home, just because it does. It has can't explain it other than it has an aura about it, about playing in that stadium.
What are the keys to victory on Friday night? What needs to happen for you guys to be playing next week?
If I relate back to the last time we played them, we threw 4 interceptions, turned the ball over a lot, and really just eliminating the big play. Taking care of the football, eliminating the big play, having a couple of our own. I'm pretty sure that's like a really cliche, a bunch of things to say that everyone probably says, but at the end of the day, when you look at it, we were pretty well matched up. They made all the big plays, and their big plays counted for touchdowns. Ours didn't. And that was the big difference in the game, was that their big plays resulted in 7 points on the board, and our big plays just got us another first down. So if we're able to capitalize a big play and hold them and limit theirs, I think it's going to come down to the wire regardless of what happens.
Coach, set the scene for us. For people listening tonight that are looking to go to a playoff game Friday night, you're not going to find a much better atmosphere than Baker County at Yulee up there in Nassau County. What can people expect when they come out? What can they look forward to?
I think they can expect a physical, hard-hitting game with both really tough defenses on both sides of the ball. I just hope we can put some firepower in on offense and have some big plays, some big, exciting football plays. Both defenses are really talented, so I really think you're going to see two well-coached teams that are going to come out and execute and be physical.
Round 2 of the state playoffs Friday night, Baker County at Yulee. The winner advances to next week's regional final. Kyle Doherty of Yulee. Coach, best of luck this week, man. We hope we're talking to you under the Friday night lights.
Appreciate you.
If you were given a chance to pick this week's games, could you pick them?
Of course.
It's 1010XL's weekly pick'em contest. You could win a barbecue feast from ABBQ at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by MyBookie and J. David Tax Law.
Men, suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
At ABBQ, they are turning up the heat on game day with a spread that'll make your taste buds do a victory dance. Football and barbecue always play together. I'm talking mouth-watering wings, juicy burgers, and tantalizing appetizers that'll keep your hunger in check as you cheer for your team. Come for the food and football, and stay for the teal-colored Jell-O shots, your destination for mouth-watering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody. QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
1010XL is a proud sponsor of Operation New Uniform's 10th Annual Heroes Gala, featuring retired Army Lieutenant Colonel and former Congressman Alan West. Saturday, December 2nd at Sawgrass Marriott. Operation New Uniform is a free, life-changing program that helped me, David Trenholm, successfully transition from a 20-year career in the United States Navy to the business world. Join 1010XL and sponsor Operation New Uniform's 10th Annual Heroes Gala today. Go to onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org today.
1010XL celebrates athletic and academic greatness.
Listen for the high school scholar athlete Wednesdays on the Frangie Show.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Want even more excitement on game day? Then test your skills at Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. Simple. You can turn $10 into $250 just like that. I've got Kevin Durant scoring less than 31.5 points against San Antonio, and Tua Tagovailoa passing for less than 286.5 yards against Kansas City. Now listen to this. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Sweat it out, Watch your entries in real time and continue the fun by making picks on second half and fourth quarter stats. Take your game day experience to the next level with Prize Picks. And right now, when you go to prizepicks.com/1010XL and use the promo code 1010XL, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. That's right, $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Pastor Joby Martin here with the Church of 1122. We are honored once again to partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for the Great Futures Weekend, which includes golf and Mackenzie's 5K run at the esteemed TPC Stadium course. Help us continue to honor Mackenzie Wilson's legacy. That's Friday and Saturday, November 17th and 18th. You can golf or you can run. It'll be a great time. Additional info at MackenzieRun.org. Proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida.
Hey, this is Jason with Bueller Air Conditioning. Why do we love to go to that awesome grocery store where shopping is a pleasure? Why do we choose that amazing chicken sandwich where the service is fast and friendly and it's always their pleasure? You see, those brands are a promise. Here at Bueller Air, our team is committed to serving the customer and delivering that same kind of brand promise. Our mission is to be the most trusted brand with friendly and professional service every single time. Give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
There are a ton of great matchups all over Northeast Florida. We've already talked about University Christian and Trinity Christian. We've already talked about Yulee and Baker County. And then the one that you'll hear right here on 1010XL Friday night in the Graveyard, the Bulls Bulldogs and the Rains Vikings. With that, let's head out to Rains High School. Their head football coach is Donovan Maslin, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just excited for another opportunity to play in the state series.
Coach, this game is a huge one on Friday night. We'll get to it in a moment. But what a year for you guys, right? You haven't lost to a team in the listening area. Your only loss came to a very good Daytona Beach mainland team. You had a stretch there where you won, I believe, 3 games by a combined 4 points. And last week you guys put it all together and knocking Jackson out of the playoffs there in round 1. You must be very pleased with where you guys are heading into this game Friday night.
Definitely. You know, the momentum, the confidence level that our kids have right now is pretty good. And, you know, you want to be rolling pretty good going into the playoffs and, you know, hitting on all the cylinders, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. We were able to score in all 3 phases last Friday. So that's a good thing. And, you know, the kids just been, you know, they've been buying in all season about what the expectations are and what is expected of them to do week in and week out. And, you know, they've been doing a good job handling everything throughout the season and close games and having to come back from 12 down in some games. And just, you know, even the loss in the Daytona Beach mainland, you know we could have played a lot better than what we did. But they fought through the entire game. The score really doesn't show the competitiveness of the game, but it was close, hard-fought game throughout that night. So we learned valuable lessons throughout that game and, you know, throughout their whole season within itself. So we feel good at this point.
Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Rains. You'll hear him right here on 1010XL Friday night against the Bulls Bulldogs. Coach, nothing else really needs to be said, right? I mean, Bulls and Rains, it's 2 of the great programs, the great traditions in Northeast Florida. Again, going at it in the state playoffs. It should be an awful lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. You know, Coach, he texted me yesterday, and he was like he's happy that the rivalry is, you know, back going again. And, you know, we're pretty much playing every year because of the classification. So, you know, we're excited. You know, it's, you know, last year we went over there, and this year we were blessed, you know, to get a home game this year. So it's going to be a great matchup, 2 great, you know, teams, programs that have sustained success throughout the years. So, you know, it's going to be a great matchup. You know, it's going to be great players on both sides of the ball making plays for their programs. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of people at the game, you know, because it's the Rains and Bulls. And, you know, we're excited, you know, to host. We're excited for the community to come out and just enjoy a great night of Friday night football.
Coach, extra motivation for your upperclassmen based on the way last year went to get another chance to play bowls?
Definitely. My senior class, those guys are the ones who came in with me in 2020. So, they pretty much started the era for Coach. And to get to this point now, it's definitely something that, has been circled since last season, playing them over there at Bowles. And we know, we had a lot of mistakes offensively, had to stop the run in the second half because of, they did a pretty good job of coming out, being physical in the run game. So we know that's something that they're going to want to do. So the seniors understand what it is that needs to be done. They understand the discipline factor of it. They understand the eye discipline that needs to take place. So we have a great game plan, and the kids are going to buy into it. And, they're going to come out with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and a lot of focus, understanding what's at stake. And, we always saying, in the playoffs, you got to earn the right to play another game. So, we're going to do what we have to do to earn that opportunity to play next week.
Final moments, Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Raines. Coach, sometimes, you can overblow home field advantage in high school football. I don't think it's overblown here, right? I mean, there is a gigantic difference between playing on San Jose Boulevard and playing in the Graveyard, and you guys get to play in the Graveyard. That's got to give you a lot of confidence.
Oh, it definitely gives a lot of confidence with the preparation throughout. You can take your time a little bit with not having to travel. You get a bus to travel over there. You can kind of take your time, eat a pre-game meal and not rush. And, the kids have time to just chill and relax and, get dressed at a good pace. And, just the preparation, the scheduling that we have on home games is very good, and they don't have to feel rushed. We hand uniforms out the day before. So all of that stuff, it really plays a big part in a game like this. So, we maximize our time so that the kids understand that, time management is at a premium, so that when they're in the game, they're going to play with a sense of urgency. And, once again, man, it's nothing like playing in the Graveyard. The kids have fought. They had some close games in the Graveyard, and they had some games where they, scored a lot of points. So, we always look to score a lot of points, but, win is the ultimate goal. So we're going to do what we have to do to make sure we get another win.
Coach, what are those goals? What needs to happen Friday night for you guys to come out victorious?
First thing is, I'm always, I think I was asked this at the beginning of the season with University Christian, and it hasn't changed. We must be disciplined in all three phases of the game, win the turnover battle, and then win on special teams. I think if we can do all those things, it's the win column and take care of itself. As long as our kids are disciplined, understanding what they're going to do to us offensively and defensively. Win the turnover battle, we work on ball security since the game that, I think we fumbled the ball like 6 times or something like that against Atlantic Coast. So that's been one of our main focuses, ball security, and then taking the ball away. I think we had 5 interceptions against 5 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown, and 2 pick sixes against Jackson, and then just winning on special teams and win the field position battle. And if we can get a couple balls punted inside the 5-yard line, that'll be good. And some good returns in the return game. So all 3 of those components will definitely lead us to the right direction.
All right, Coach, leave us with this. Invite them out. If people are listening tonight looking for a ball game to go out and watch on Friday night, won't be a much better atmosphere in the city, nevertheless the state more than likely, when Bowles and Raines get together. What can people look forward to on Friday night out at the Graveyard?
Out of the Graveyard, one thing you can look forward to is you're going to get some great food from the concession stand. You're going to get some great music. And then you're going to get some kids who are playing on both sides of the ball from both schools that's going to show passion. They're going to show hunger. They're going to show grit. They're going to show fight to give the best matchup that they can possibly give to the alumni, to the community, to the friends, to the families of their respective schools. And it's just going to be a great matchup. So we just want you guys to come out, support, and just enjoy yourself and have a great time watching playoffs on a Friday night.
Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Raines. You will hear the game right here on 1010XL Friday night. Raines hosting Bowles, the winner off to the regional final. Coach, best of luck. We hope we're talking to you under the Friday night lights.
Thank you, buddy. Look forward to it.
Follow the Florida Gators on 1010XL.
And scoots in the end zone. Touchdown, Gators.
The Gators go to Mizzou. Florida, Missouri kickoff at 7:30 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010XL.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Not looking forward to cooking that big Thanksgiving meal? Bellwether in downtown Jacksonville has got you covered. Pick up your meal to go on November 21st and 22nd until 6 p.m. Bellwether offers dinner for 4, 2, or just 1. Just make your order by calling 802-7745. That's 802-7745. Orders must be made before the 18th. So take a break this Thanksgiving and have dinner from us. That's Bellwether, downtown Jacksonville.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Lone Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000